What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm really excited to have somebody who has become a friend in the last year, a business partner, and someone I have a lot of respect for. And this episode is specifically, at least the first part of this, eventually it'll be for the extroverts. We'll get towards that towards the end of this, but for the beginning, it's going to be for the introverts like me and Kaley, who kind of, I think, started this business less external outgoing. And she went through a really cool process that we're going to talk about. She's written a book about it, a bunch of other things, but I think for a lot of you guys, it's going to be really fascinating, interesting, and maybe a way for you to kind of broaden your horizons and get out there. So I'm excited. Our guest is Kaley Chu. For those who don't know her yet, you're going to fall in love with her. She's really, really cool, and excited to have you here on the show. So how are you feeling today?
I am feeling extremely honored. It is like my wildest dream to be in this podcast. That's wow. How did I get here? That's how I'm feeling.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad to have you here. And it's been fun getting to know you over the last year. You've done so many cool things and you're working on so many cool projects. But the one I want to start with is kind of the beginning of your journey. And I think, again, I got in this business very introverted, not planning on ever being a speaker, which now I'm obviously a speaker. You're doing, you're a speaker. You talk about speaking a lot. But when you started differently. I'd love for you to kind of tell that story because I think it's fascinating. I think it's such a cool way to get out of your comfort zone, but then meet cool people and then just the foundation for what has become who you are today. We got to tell this the 100 Lunches story.
Sure. I'm just like a lot of immigrants have so many limiting beliefs. I don't know how many of your audience were not born in the where they're living in at the moment. So I grew up in Hong Kong and moved to Australia when I was 17 years old. And because of that, I feel so self-conscious. And I only surround myself with people from Hong Kong. And not only that, I was the only person in the entire Hong Kong community that grew up in a government school and everyone else in private school. And because of that, I think I'm just extremely self-conscious, thinking that I'm the minority of the minority. And I just didn't want to talk and become extremely like introverted and shy and lacking confidence. For a long time. Life wasn't bad, but for 12 years, I was just living in my little bubble, thinking that life is okay. I'm going to put all my dreams and hope and everything to my next generations, to my two sons. Unfair for them, not great. Until I hit a wall that I couldn't talk to people. I literally couldn't talk to anyone that's non-Asian. No offense. Please don't put me to jail. I'm not racist or anything like that. I was just too scared to talk to people because I was just so shy. And because of that, one day I couldn't say a single word in an entire 2 hours meeting. I was so embarrassed. I said, this is not okay. I can't live like this anymore. And I know there's more in me. I thought, what if I do something crazy? What if I get out of my comfort zone to connect with more people? But more importantly, I just want to be able to talk to people. And that's when I started to, like you mentioned before, decide to have 100 lunches with 100 strangers so that I can start to talk to people. But little did I know that experience changed my life entirely, opened up so many doors, and helped me realize that there is more in the world can offer than just living in my little bubble. And from there, I get on stages, tell people that doesn't matter if you're a woman, doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, doesn't matter if English not your first language and I'm still making grammatical mistakes. We can still own our story. We can still be confident. We can still be happy, and we can still, do what we want to do instead of putting our dreams to the next generations, which is not fair to them.
Yeah. Well, it makes you feel better. I still make grammatical mistakes all the time too. So, you're in good company. I'm curious, when you started this idea, like, was the first idea like, I'm gonna do 100 lunches, or is it just like, I'm gonna do 10 or 1, or did you start with the vision before you started doing it?
I actually started with 100 because I don't even know where that number come from. I know I want to do lunches because as a mom with 2 young kids at a time, 2 and 4, dinner time, evening time was just chaotic. As you know, Saturday, Sunday, I want to reserve for my family, and I was working full time. So the only time I've got for myself is lunchtime. That's why I go, let's have some lunches, because that's the only time that I have for myself. And one lunch, see, I make grammatical mistakes still. 1 lunch, 2 lunches. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. And also, as we all know, New Year, we like to set ourselves a New Year resolution. So I thought, let's do something that's going to make a difference. And let's pick a number, 100. I believe that after 100 lunches, things will change. And it did, in a much better way than I could ever imagine.
So interesting. This is a little different, but like in Expert Secrets, I wrote something because I was like, some people come to my world and they want to be an expert or share their ideas. And I was like, I told them, like, if you publish every single day for a year, so that ends up being 365 days. But I'm like, if you do that, I believe at the end of it, you'll have financial freedom because you'll like have found your voice, and things will shift when you're doing something consistently for long enough. I think that's very similar to you with this, is like you're picking 100. Now, were you doing 100 in a row, or is that like, what did that look like? What was the structure of it all?
It took me 11 months to finish the 100 lunches with strangers. So every day I try to book something in, but of course it's not always possible. Like there's rescheduled, there's postponing. And also there are people that you like so much and you want to have lunch again and again and again. So second lunch, third lunch.
Do those count, the second and third lunch towards 100 or no?
No, it counts only the first 100 strangers, but I haven't stopped since. I think I've had about 400 lunches one-on-one with strangers. It only slowed down because of the COVID and transit to the online space. But I love that because it's like an in-person funnel, right? You meet 100 people, you don't expect 100 new best friends, but 100 people, you connect well with 50 of them, and 20 of them give you a really good idea that, oh, wow, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that, expanding my world. And 10 people, almost every lunch, 10 people would really change my life and take my life to the next level. And I'm just super grateful for all those kindness for the strangers.
That's so cool. How did you do the very first lunch? Like, how did you find the person? Did you post it somewhere, or what was the process for finding these 100 people initially?
For the first 100 lunches, I would say majority of them, at least 95 out of those 100, is through LinkedIn, because I want to stalk them a little bit first. And also I feel safer in that professional platform. And I just literally message them and go, hey, I looked at your profile. You've done something really, really cool. And this is who I am. I'm a mom. I've got 2 kids. I'm doing financial planning at that time. And this is my New Year resolution to have lunch with 100 strangers. Is that something that you'd be interested to be part of? And from there, the first lunch wasn't that great. I was awkward, so awkward. And I was having that keto diet at that time. That means that no bread, no pasta, no rice, no nothing. And I tried to eat chicken wings with a knife and a fork, with being super awkward, didn't know what to say. And it was not a pleasant experience for him, I don't think, and we didn't stay in touch.
But when I was
so committed, I booked 3 lunches in one go in the same days, but I'm so glad I did, because otherwise I probably have given up already. But the second lunch was better than the first one. The third one was better than the second one. And within 3 lunches, I know that something shifted in me already, that oh, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. And also a little bit of background information. I haven't even dated anyone other than my husband, because I met him when I was 13 years old. He's the only person that I've dated. And going on the lunch with a stranger was something really scary for me at that time, but it really changed my life and opened up my whole world for possibilities. And because we don't know what we don't know, and talking to people helped me understand myself and the world much better.
What was the first one that, the first lunch that like you felt like had like you said like, 10 out of 100 will change your life. What was the first one where you had an experience? It was like something happened that literally changed your life. I'm curious about that.
There are so many of them that really changed my life in so many different ways. I found my best friends through lunch. I've got business partners through lunch. I've got my mentors through lunch. But if I have to pick just one that's unexpectedly changed my life, was, I would have to say, a guy named Mark. And when I met him, he's just a marketing person and didn't tell me a lot. But after the 100 lunches with strangers, he was the first person that told me, hey, Kaley, you've got an interesting story. You should write a book. And I haven't thought about writing a book at that time. And he said he used to work in a publishing house. Oh, yes, that's the book.
This one right here you're talking about?
Let's do a book together. Yeah, that's right. And from there, I'm like, okay, let's make it happen. And then he shared my story on his own Facebook profile. And his friend, Cheryl, that they used to go hiking together, saw my post. And Cheryl said, hey, this is interesting. Would you like to come to my office and do a speech for some of the people that I coach for? And I'm like, okay, I have never done speaking before, but why not? So I went to her office and I shared a little bit about my story. And little did I know, the managing director was sitting at the back of the office listening the whole time. I'm glad that she didn't tell me, otherwise I would have freaked out. And his name was Michael Russell. And he completely changed my whole life, because he gave me my very first speaking opportunity, got me to share my story on stage. And from there, he picked up his phone and called his other CEO friends, because he's a CEO. He called his other CEO friend and go, you should talk to this girl named Kaley. You don't know her, but she's really cool and she's got an interesting story that you should use her as a keynote speaker. And within a very short period of time, like a few weeks, I become a full-time keynote speaker, traveling around Australia, delivering my keynote speech to inspire people to get out of the comfort zone, to connect with people. But I didn't meet Mark to meet Cheryl, I didn't meet Cheryl to meet Michael, but it's really about connections, like all those funnels, right? Opening doors and crazy things happen, and my life changed completely.
Yeah, think about 100. Like most people, they may know 100 acquaintances on Instagram or whatever it might be, but to actually sit and talk to 100 people, I don't think. Like I wonder if I've done that in the last year. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how many times you actually talk, and then how many connection points it opens up for the next thing, and just it's so fascinating.